I'm so excited to have Orlee Muroff on my podcast today. Apparently you're not in his car.
No.
Anyway, we have been talking about this for a little while. Orlee and I bonded over being that person that people call for our contacts. And we ended up finding out that a lot of our contacts are the same. And we have you on today to talk about, I feel like it's such a controversial topic depending on who you speak to, but about house flipping. So there you go. I feel like I just had to spit it out. I am and I have been for a long time, of the perspective of house flipping, that if it's done properly, I think it's an amazing opportunity for buyers.
Yeah.
It brings a lot to the market.
Yep.
I know that there is another side, and I'll table it right now, of people who feel like it pushes house prices up. And there's no question that a house that was in need of a gut job and an overhaul is going to be less money than a property that you redid it at. But I will say, and I know that Orlee will back it up and we'll get into this, is a house done by you properly is going to be not only a less of a headache, but also so much more affordable than if you were to buy it yourself
and flip
do it yourself.
Yeah.
So let's get into that.
Yeah.
So how did you get into house flipping?
So interesting. My background's actually in holistic medicine, nutrition. Of course it is. It's totally.
Just so you know, we go to the same osteopath, the same naturopath,
and eye doctor.
Eye doctor.
Not massage.
Okay,
no,
fine.
no.
Right. Yeah.
But so that was my old life. I used to be a vice president at Loblaw Companies. I ran their health food division for 7 years, and then I had my own organic baby food company that I sold. But my passion was always design and houses. Okay. So after I took a little break after I sold my company in 2012, I had a baby shower at my house for my girlfriend. And a bunch of the women came up to me and asked me who decorated my house. And I said, me.
Stunning.
And then, thank you. That's so nice. Anyways, then I said, you know what? I'm going to just start my own business. And that's just my personality. I incorporated a company. I called it Interiors by Orlee. And I've been doing that for the last 9 years. Rewind 3 years, I decided that, you know what, I love design, but I want to flip my own houses. I have the trades, I have the connections, I know what I'm doing, I'm very fast. I mean, I never go over budget.
You're like my spirit animal.
It's like it's in my soul.
You say spirit animal anymore.
Is that bad? No, spirit animals. The spirit animals, okay. So I incorporated another company with my two brothers, and I've been flipping houses for the last 3 years. And that's basically how it started.
Amazing.
And so maybe I think the main thing that the main reason why I wanted to get into it is because I like to do things myself. So when you design for somebody, you can offer your opinion, you can get the best price, you can schlep them to 50 stores. At the end of the day, they're really going to do sometimes what they want. They're not going to really listen to you. Whereas if I'm doing my own homes,
patience.
That's right. You're 100% right.
And you know what? And I think that
you're 100%
this is
right.
It's not a shot. Like, I think there are builders out there who will not do custom builds. They do spec houses. Houses. I build a house and I sell it, and it's end of story. And that's how I do it. Right. And it's my way, and it's all good. And if you want it, you want it. If you don't, you don't.
Exactly.
Right. Exactly. So I can appreciate that for sure.
It's a timing thing. It's you want to make money thing.
It's also a lot more risk, by the way. Like, it's not like, I'm just going to go the easy way because I don't want to deal with clients. It's a much more lucrative way to go with clients. Not lucrative, but like it's less risk because you can charge by hour, whereas you have to invest up front and then you have to
that was my main thing. You need, I don't want to say deep pockets, but you have to have, some money put aside because stuff goes wrong.
Well, you have to buy the house, first of all.
100%. And anything you think, that could possibly happen sometimes does. So, you need to have that nest egg put away a little bit. Okay. But you also, the main thing is your trades, your people. If you have a team, if your contractor is number one, which my guy is, I love him. I would marry him if I wasn't married. Him and his crew, we get in and we get out and it's all under 4 months. every house I've ever flipped. And
Right.
it's a big thing. Timing is a big thing.
And by the way, it's not easy to find. I mean, I think that that's where, like, going back to, like, funny but, like, serious is that we bonded on the fact that, you know, we both can say we're people that our clients or people that we know call us for those contacts because, yeah, sure, there's a million contractors.
Right.
Like, I'm going to age myself. But, like, if you open the Yellow Pages, you know, like, you
It's true,
Google,
though.
like.
It's true, though.
Contractors, there's a gazillion.
100%.
And you need a contract. Like, I have a contractor for someone who's anxious. I have a contractor for someone who wants something fast, right? Like, so knowing
Interesting.
that
That's
you have
interesting.
that one, oh yeah,
So
same
my
with
guy-
lawyers,
so
same
my
with
guy-
mortgage brokers.
Right. So my guy and his team are a one and done. Like
you, it's perfect.
For me,
Right,
he's,
exactly.
you know, and trust is the other thing.
Right. You know they're not going to cut
You
corners.
know they're not going to cut corners. You know they're not going to upsell you or try to screw you on something. And you know that if they say they're going to be there at 8 o'clock, at 7:58, the doorbell rings and they're there.
And they're not like, oh,
so
I had to go to
important.
my other project and I'll be back on Thursday.
And then you don't hear from them for a few days. That would never happen with me. I
because
couldn't
you-
work with people like that.
But that's the other thing is that that's where that connection is so important when I refer other people. And I always say, let them know that I sent you.
Yes, say my
because
name.
You will be, say my name.
Say my name.
Because, that person will now make sure that they show up because there's other people I'm sending them to and they know that they don't want that cut off. And it's not, I don't say that like obnoxiously, but the reality is that you have put yourself in a position in a relationship where you know, listen, I'm going to send you business. You're going to make me look good because I'm going to make sure that my clients are taken care of.
Exactly.
But you need to make sure that you do that, right? And you can, and then that relationship keeps going. Okay, so I really want to touch on this because when I went, and I want to kind of use now versus COVID as a really, and especially since, you know, we're going back 3 years and it was really in the height of COVID, you started doing this. You know, there was this negative connotation of, you know, you'd see a property and they all look the same. You know what I'm talking about,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And it was like all white and it had the same fixtures and it had that same fake looking marble and it had, right?
Yeah.
And you walked in and you could tell like the trim wasn't done properly. They didn't lay the floors properly and they were trying to flip it and sell it for top dollar and they were getting garbage. Like the reality is people were getting garbage and it's unfortunate because a lot of people who bought that stuff during COVID are probably having, thank God, none of my clients, but you know, if you don't have an eye for it and you don't see that this is not done well, you just get, you know, drawn into the shiny and the pretty.
Sucked in, yeah.
You do.
Yeah.
You get to, you've seen it a million times,
sure,
right?
For sure.
So, but again, I go back to the idea that not just like anything, like you say people like, I get tons of people commenting like those, you know, scamming real estate agents, you know, like there's good and there's bad. Oh, trust me. They'll be commenting on this one.
Yeah.
But like they, you know, there's good and bad in
everywhere, in every job, business, everything.
So you are an example to me of coming on and talking about like best practices. So let's talk about finding that house. So you're like, okay, I need the next project. You know, we just sold our last place and I'm assuming you only do one at a time.
Sometimes two, but it's easier to do one but because we're fast, you know, so far I've been lucky, but I don't think it's luck so much. I just think I have really good, you know, again, back to the trades. Yeah. But the main thing I look for, and I know this is such a cliche, but location. Like location. I know it's.
But here, no.
Yeah.
Hold on. For all the people that are going to comment, notice how her first comment was not price. I'm going to, listen, I can appreciate that obviously price is going to factor into it. It's a business. It's not a hobby. You need to make a profit. But you want to make something of value to put on the market. You don't want to put shit. That's reality. You are too proud to put a piece of garbage on the market.
And
because your name's on it.
100%. And if it's not in a quote unquote good location, then it doesn't matter what the price is. Because you can get a cheaper house in a bad location, but you're not going to be able to flip it.
Well, you're just not going to make.
Or you're not going to make the money that you want to make, or people just aren't going to be necessarily interested in all your hard work, because it's hard work flipping houses. It's time, energy, blood, sweat, and tears. It's it's a job.
I had it happen to a client who's not. He's a contractor, but he had a home. They had moved. He was like, I'm going to hold on to it. I'm going to do it myself, and it was so well done. It was stunning. Like people would they'd be like, oh my God, I can't believe that house you have isn't sold yet. Like it was drop dead. They did it. He did it so well. And
Perfection.
When you
Yeah.
you know when you know.
Yeah.
And it was because it was in an area that had not accepted that price point was something that people would pay in that area. That was 3 years ago. Now you would be able to see it. But if you're too ahead, price does not matter.
Price does not matter.
Well, it factors, but
right.
Okay,
Yeah.
so location.
Location, and with location, the second important thing to me, I don't know if it's because I'm a mom, or I feel like school district is really important, because when we flip the houses, a lot of times the first words out of the people's mouths are, oh, what school district are you in? Which is interesting, right?
Well, because you're flipping family homes.
Because you're
right?
flipping,
so you're
exactly.
You're not doing the like bungalow.
Right. And I guess, the economy's tough now. And the kids that maybe went to private school are going to public now. I don't know. My kids are, in university, so I'm not sure yet. But, again, the big question is right away, what's the school district? So location, school district, and then obviously price.
And I would imagine you probably enjoy, like many investors, working within areas that you know.
Right.
So you're not
that you're comfortable with.
You're not like in East York.
Right.
Right.
No, I'm in.
You're not going into the West End.
Right.
Right. You're doing Central Toronto.
Yep.
So I think that there's a lot of value in having someone not just say, and by the way, I've had people say to me, hey, if you see that, this is my favorite line, if you see that really great opportunity, let me know.
Let me know.
And I'm like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Right? Like, what does that mean? What's an opportunity?
Right.
Like, qualify it for me.
Right.
Do you just want a really cheap house?
Right.
Do you want a great location? Do you want, where is that opportunity? Yeah. So you've qualified that for yourself.
Right. And again, this is my personal opinion.
Your expert opinion.
I hope my expert opinion, but I know that at the end of the day, when that house is done and the way it looks, and I know the craftsmanship and everything that went into it, I sell it. So it's kind of, my thinking, I think, works because
you're doing well.
It's working.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. Listen, the market's changed. Way better than me. With interest rates and everything else. I think that's all going to change in 2024 a little bit.
We're going into
in a good direction a little bit. From everything I read,
we're out of. I would say the worst is in our rear view.
Right.
Maybe January still.
Right.
But I think it's in our
rear view. I think spring 2024. There's it's.
So I would say spring's going to be strong.
Strong. Yeah.
I don't think it'll be as strong as 2025, and I think everybody who's been sitting on the sidelines waiting for interest rates to fall will be kicking themselves that they didn't enjoy going to buy something without any competition. I think we'll go back to good inventory. We'll go back to
But I think that's
multiples.
huge what you just said. Purchasing without, fighting for the house. Right?
Well, what did everybody do for the last 4 years? It's exactly,
right? Yeah.
Because money was free.
Yeah. Money was free. Money was free.
People didn't need to make, I was talking to a financial advisor friend of mine, and he was like, people didn't need to make good decisions back then or they thought they didn't because money was free. So it was
cheap,
right?
That
just makes sense because there wasn't a lot of risk until the prices went back up, and then they were sitting with a variable that went from 2% to 7%.
Right. And they're like, oh my God.
How am I paying my mortgage?
Right.
So, but we were talking about it before also. I think that, people will be like, well, okay, so you're going to go buy up the cheap houses, and then you're going to just, you're going to gut it, and the price is going to go up. And I think what they don't realize, and I'd be interested to hear what you have to say, but I'm not sure that people who buy homes to flip are buying the ones that you could move into.
No, the ones that I purchase, if you guys ever saw the movie Silence of the Lambs, okay, that's what the houses look like when I walk in.
I'm a real estate agent. Like the kill rooms in the basement.
There, you walk in and
with
it's
that one weird plastic.
Yeah, like
shower curtain.
yeah,
You're
like Buffalo Bills in the basement. Yeah. Those I'm not buying houses that anyone's going to walk into and be like, "Oh my god!" Like
I can't stop laughing. I literally feel like
you know what I'm saying. It's scary.
I've seen them.
And I go down in the basement.
Okay,
Where some
by the
people
way,
won't.
I have been in with clients' houses, and I always get there before and like turn the lights on, whatever. And they're like, "How is it?" I'm like, "I'm not going to the basement." And they're like, "What?" I'm like, "No, just so you know, you can go."
Right. I'm not going. Right. But you see, here's the thing.
And not dirty. Like
Not dirty.
Someone's dead down there.
Somebody, it's something else. It's something else. But it's true. Like so if you think that flippers are buying the houses and jacking up the prices, you got to think of it. I think this way: if you're going to buy a house that needs to be done head to toe, a flipper's going to be able to do that cheaper than you will. Than the average person, because the flipper has the contacts and has the trades and has the experience. And, it ends up, I'm telling you, if you try to flip it yourself, you're going to end up paying more money than I am once it's done.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
No, listen, there's no question that you're going to go in, you're going to spend the money you need to spend, and then you're going to put a price tag on it because it was your time and there's a premium on it. No one's denying this. Right. The difference is that you know how to do it properly. So first of all, I think that's so important. Right. Okay. You've already got a stamp of approval on a house that Orlee did that has been renovated properly. Right. If there was asbestos, you've remediated. If there was mold,
plumbing,
it's being remediated.
Knob and tube.
Everything is being done.
Right.
I am sure you do home inspections to show how beautifully it was done. Okay, great. So that's one. And then second of all is that, like, and I have told clients who have a certain budget, listen, let's find a great older house with good bones that is livable.
Right.
That is livable, that you can renovate down the road. You're not buying that.
No.
That's too expensive.
No, that's
so
too
I
expensive.
think that's a misconception and where that negative connotation comes in, where they're like, oh, you're taking the ones we would have bought. No. You would not have bought.
You would not have bought this one.
No, you wouldn't have.
Right.
I am telling you, kill rooms.
And if you bought it, it would cost you so much to fix it.
And the carpet and
you can't live in the ones I'm buying. Like you can't.
I went to one where there was this is my favorite, and I know my client listens to this, and him and his wife will get a chuckle out of this. We went to a house in the East End. There was carpet around the bathtub.
Oh,
so they had, and then the floor in the main living room was so badly damaged from whatever had been sitting on it that I had to ask the agent if he was supposed to disclose if this had been a meth lab. Wow. Like, that's how bad now, these clients are very, very handy, can do themselves, like help their parents build their cottage. They renovated the house they ended up buying, was fine. Like you could see that they took one of the walls out and didn't reinforce it with a beam. It was like, these are the houses that you're buying. Yes. Not the ones that have an outdated kitchen.
Right. Exactly. That's exactly right.
So I think that's a really, that's that big myth but I mean, I also think there's a lot of really bad flips. Anyway, okay, so now you've got this great gut job. So you've got a good location. You found something that makes sense from price point also. What are the things that you're looking for in that house? Is it making sure there's enough bathrooms, or you're like, I can do the bathrooms myself? Is it a certain size kitchen, or are you taking down walls? Do you not worry about that?
Well, I know in my head, when I check, when we go in the house, I have to make sure that I can put a master bathroom in upstairs, that there's space. Right. I have to make sure that, a 6'1" man or woman can walk down the stairs in the basement and not hit their head. Okay, things like that, right?
Yeah.
And I have to be able to make sure I can take down walls. I got to make sure that I like a decent backyard. For especially for families, right? Yeah. I don't purchase homes necessarily. It's not true. I don't, but I prefer a garage. Because we live in Toronto and we have bad winters.
Yeah, there's no question.
So yeah, those I walk in and I always go with my contractor. Right. We go together, and he looks at behind the scenes, and I look at what can I do to this room? What can I do?
Right, and he'll be load bearing. It's too much. And you don't want to start taking that down.
Right, and he'll say to me, "It's going to cost this for me to do," and then I have to do the numbers in my head, and then that's kind of how you move forward with the house, also. Yeah.
And I think that the underpinning, depending on, and I'm assuming the areas that you are working in also, like the underpinning can be a huge endeavor as well.
Huge.
Right? Because so many of those homes were built where that basement was really not considered living space.
Right. And digging a basement costs a lot of money. A lot.
Yeah, it's like $100,000 and you've done
Plus.
nothing but.
Right. And no one even sees it. Yeah.
No, you haven't even put drywall up yet. No, there's
exactly.
no floor. Yeah,
so, in older homes, it is sometimes you're going to have to dig out the basement, but sometimes it's worth it and sometimes it isn't.
One of the things I've always told clients, and you can tell me from someone who's done this over and over again, if you're going to renovate, whatever you do it really well. Mm-hmm. Like, I would rather see a home that has 3 really good bedrooms than 4 with one that's really not usable.
Right. I agree.
Right? Because people will be like, well, but I'm going to get more money for a 4-bedroom. And I'm like, no, it doesn't work that way.
No, I agree.
I think that if that room is really not usable, they're buying a 3-bedroom home and they know it.
Do it well the first time. That's also key, right? So yeah, don't make that 4th bedroom so small that you can't, spread your arms out in it and still say, but I have 4 bedrooms. No one's going to care.
Closet.
No one's going to care. Yeah. Right? So do it well the first time. Make those 3 bedrooms spectacular. People aren't going to care.
Well, I remember walking through this gorgeous house and it was done so well, and we get to the master ensuite was stunning. Like, they thought of everything, and then you get to the walk-in.
And
it was a quarter
like
of size of
heartbreaking.
No, I was like, and we're done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
But whoever did that thought that the bathroom was more important than the closet. Everything is important. That's the other thing. Well, everything's important.
Right. So going back to that, it's like, and I've said to clients, like, listen, if you're a buyer, they're going to be like, okay, well, I'm not going to pay top dollar because there's that, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas, from a seller perspective, I mean, there is that element of, like, if you're just doing it for yourself, do it for yourself. Right. Don't worry about it. Like, if you're in your forever home and you're doing it, you'll worry about it when you sell, because you know what? You bought it for X amount, and 20 years from now, it's going to be worth so much money, it won't matter.
True. Yeah.
So the other misconception is that all flippers go to Home Depot to buy all their fixtures. And listen, I've been through enough, Orlee.
Yeah.
They do. A lot of them do.
Yeah.
Like, I will walk in and I'm like, oh, I've seen that. Like, I've seen that, that vanity. You know the vanity I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know the vanity. I know the vanity, yeah.
That same vanity in the same powder room. Like, and you look and you're like, ugh, yeah, they went Home Depot. But like, you can tell, and that vinyl and the way, anyway.
Right. No, I think you're 100. Listen, not knocking Home Depot. There's some great stuff you could get at Home Depot, but the price is going to reflect that then. Because no one's going to, I don't think anyone's going to want to pay top dollar with vinyl from Home Depot.
Well, and going forward, now that money will, like, listen, I don't know what.
Who knows? We don't know. Yeah.
But like in the next little while, if there's no pandemic and World War III, I mean, I would say money will not be free, and it's still going to be expensive. And I think they're maybe going to bottom out at a 3%, overnight rate. So it's still going to be expensive. Right. So yeah, putting that shit in your house is not gonna get it for you.
Well, that's back to the doing
and don't
it.
do the floors. Then don't. Sorry, and I know that sounds horrible, but
no. But then just wait. You're right.
Yeah,
do it properly the first time, because then you don't have to do it again.
Well, and what's interesting? Like in my day, like in my parents, like there was hardwood.
Yeah.
There was carpet.
Right.
Like those are now you can go walk into like Lowe's or whatever.
Right.
There's this I'm trying to remember the company. They do the most stunning luxury vinyl floor that looks like cement.
There's some gorgeous,
like the roll.
For sure.
The roll, a client of mine sent it to me, and I was like dying. It was so stunning.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't, you don't have to be spending $20,000.
100%. If it's your own home and you're going to live it, there are ways, to watch the cost. Listen, Home Depot isn't even so cheap anymore either.
No, I know.
Like we're talking about it,
No,
it's
for
still,
sure. I think
right?
it's like the lighting, like there's certain, or the boob lights.
Right. No, but you're right. Like certain things make a difference, and it doesn't have to cost a lot. Like your dining room fixture, do a kick-ass one and make it beautiful. Your bathroom fixtures, okay, so go to Lowe's. type of thing, right?
But it's interesting, like
high low.
So I was
low.
just gonna say. Also, remember like where you want to put it. So if you're like, no, I want to do hardwood. Great, do hardwood on your main floor. Right. And maybe you're doing vinyl in your basement. Like, don't put
you
hardwood.
should do
You're
anyways.
not going to get your money back.
Yeah, you
right.
do vinyl
100%.
anyways. Yeah.
But I used to work with this other stager who was more like she did a great job in the sense of like walked in, looked at it from a design perspective, right? And she would insist on like the lights had to be changed and everything. Not for everybody, but that's fine. And she would send us links to great places like Amazon.
Oh yeah.
Wayfair. Yeah. Like you don't have like you can get really cool lights for like $50, $60.
Amazon is something
if you know
else
what
for
to
lighting.
Look for,
if you have a good eye.
Well, and that like
Yeah,
I
right?
would say like I can say I love that light.
Right.
I don't know how to put it together.
Right.
That is
right,
not my forte
right.
for sure.
That's
that would
why
be you.
when a designer flips a house, it's right. It shows. It shows.
And then it's those little things like are the drawers in the right place? Have you thought about the storage? Have you thought about like even where that like when you think about taking down walls and like where are you moving the door and is it going to be a pocket door? Or is it going to be a French door? Like 100%. Those are huge things. Yeah. And I always say like if you're going to renovate an area of your house, make sure it's functional. Like I would rather function and simplicity and class than like don't go trendy. Like now I don't know. Now this whole like statement kitchens are back and like color. I'm like don't do it.
Yeah. Don't do it unless you plan on living in the house for the next 50 years and it's your house. Yeah. Then, you want a pink kitchen, do a pink kitchen. Yeah. But it's, sometimes simplicity is best.
I would say, I mean, I guess it depends. Like if you want to be really fun with one powder room.
Yeah. Oh, like my powder rooms have the craziest wallpaper. It's sometimes it's like people walk in, they're like,
her house is so cool.
But, but it's certain things are fun to put in a powder room, right?
And also like colors, like paint is just paint.
Paint is just paint.
And wallpaper and whatever, like that for sure. That's fun.
Yeah. Amazon has great wallpaper. Great wallpaper. FYI.
No way.
Great wallpaper.
Oh, I have a painter like on call at all times.
Yeah.
Like,
does he do wallpaper?
Yes.
Okay, good. Because a lot of painters don't do wallpaper.
Lazo for sure is not, but all of my clients know Lazo. And like he's like this older Greek man. Okay. And like people, I'll be like, I'll call him after. I'm like, how did it go with Lazo? And they're like, he's still here.
Yeah.
And then I'll see their kids and they're like, how's Lazo? Like he's the sweetest. But he does but it's
like, probably a perfection job.
OCD. And I always say, kind of what you want. Trades if they have OCD. That's what you want.
Yes. And your designer needs to be type A.
Oh, Orlee.
Yeah.
Okay, so Amazon for wallpaper. I feel like I want to leave everybody with some tips. So Amazon for wallpaper. I would say, I mean, I really do. I like Amazon for lighting. Any other tips on a lighting perspective? Or
I mean, Union's great. Universal's amazing.
Yeah.
Universal.
I feel Universal has more.
And if you ask for Elise, she's amazing. She'll help you. Elise is excellent. Sent me appliances, best brand appliance. I wouldn't use anybody else. Ask for Sammy, and he's unbelievable.
Flooring, like, so you're saying like vinyl, like what would you say now? Like if you're doing a house and you wanted to change the flooring, because that's big, by the way, like that's a huge endeavor. Remember, it's not just flooring. Now you're doing, you're doing subfloor, you need the like the baseboards.
Yeah.
If you have an open concept, now you have to like worry about your, your kitchen island, all that stuff. That's fine. But if you're going to do it, what's in now? Is it still wide plank? Is it like, are they going back
I think anything's in that you like. Like I always tell people, it's personal taste, right? So I can't say wide, skinny, big. No,
but if you were going to flip at like.
I personally like wide.
Yeah.
And even if it's not in style, I'm still going to like wide.
Yeah.
Because I think it looks good. Yeah. And I think it elongates the house sometimes. It makes the space a little bit bigger.
I agree.
So I always go by what I like.
I think it also depends on the house. Like I think like if you have a darker, like my house is darker, you need like the lighter floors. Right. But some people really love dark floors.
Some people, exactly. Again, personal preference. Yeah. But when you're flipping, when I do my own homes, I kind of do what I like. Right? But I think I have good taste, but maybe someone's going to walk in and say, you know what, Orlee, I don't love that. I don't love the stone you picked for the island. I mean, it hasn't happened yet, but it could. but it could. But
I also think you can't be everything to everyone. Also,
100%.
Like I would say that also. I think that if
100%.
you
Good. That's a very good point.
right, and if you, by the way, that goes for designers. Like I can give you 5 names of 5 designers right now, and every single one of them would be different. Mm-hmm. They will adhere to a certain extent to your taste, but I've interviewed like designers where they're like, that's not really my wheelhouse. They're like, that's not my style. Like they'll work with you, but they're like, I'm more in this style versus, and I think that that's a fair point. Like, if you're like, you know what, I love that style, you're going to have those buyers gravitate to your house.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah,
So
I think, and I think just like,
you have to feel comfortable with what you like put out there too, right? Like you have to feel proud of it.
You have to be proud, right? Like you have to have people walk in and be like, oh my God, this house is stunning. Like that makes you feel good. You worked your butt off and now it's beautiful. And you see, some of the open houses I drop in when whatever. And I listen and I'm just like, I also listen for my next one, like right? You get some, tip, you're eavesdropping on a few conversations, but.
By the way, that's why you should always give agents your feedback. Feedback is invaluable.
Yes. And listen to your agent.
There is nothing that makes me crazier than agents that do not call me back for
to your agent.
Feedback. Like, did your client not do you not have a relationship with your client that they cannot give you feedback?
But if Rachel tells you guys something, there's a reason, and she's the expert. Listen to your agent. It's big.
Listen,
it's important to do that.
Hire good people, and let them do great things.
Yeah,
that I think is if you want to micromanage it, maybe do it yourself. And by the way, I'm here to do whatever my clients want. I'm not saying like it's my way or the highway.
No, of course not.
Same way. But I think if you want, again, if you want an expert in your field, you hire someone who you really mesh with. And by the way, you have to trust. I think it also is trust.
Trust. Yeah. And you have to click with the person you're working with, right?
Yeah, 100%.
You have to feel comfortable with them, and you have to be able, to tell them, oh, I don't like this. I like that. I don't take me there next time. Like it's a comfort level. It's a comfort level. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to leave it with, if you are thinking about renovating, actually, you know what? We're doing something, with all of our clients this month where we're calling everybody just to touch base. Beginning of the year, people start thinking about projects and offering them anybody that's on our roster, similar, right? So anybody listening right now, your opportunity is obviously to reach out and let us know if you need any names and any recommendations for anything you might be doing. But are you still designing? Are you still like working with clients directly, or are you kind of like...
Yes. I'm just, I guess, I prefer lately, I want to do my own, but I love design, and again, I think just the last thing is like high-low. High-low is so important. Find a good find a good furniture store. Become friends with the salesperson. Arrow Furniture.
Yeah, Arrow.
I'll say it again.
I know Arrow Furniture. But what's the other one also? Who was telling me about it? It's the U.S. version of HomeSense in Buffalo. That's
Home Goods. Home Goods.
It's incredible.
Incredible.
Like, forget what you know about HomeSense.
Yeah, it's Home Goods is next level, but it's not here. But if you want to go to Buffalo for the day.
But if you wanted to go and pay the duty, I would say that would be a great low.
But that's more of like tchotchke, like
the stools. But I'm saying your side table, whatever.
Right, but like a place like Arrow, if you have a good eye, you could get some great furniture there for some crazy prices.
Yeah.
Like crazy good prices.
You heard it here first.
And then you want something a little, you want the higher, then go to LT. LT has great things. Become friends with the person there.
Yeah.
Make relationships, and then you always get that little discount. Like, do it for me.
But LT
discount.
also, by the way, has high-low.
100%.
They've
gone much better. Yes.
Much better.
You're right.
Every carpet they have in there is not $50,000.
100%. It used to be, but they've gotten way better now.
Way better.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
So thank you. And other than that, I feel like I want to leave everybody also to know about the amazing charity that you're involved with. I was very excited to be involved with last year with you.
Yes, you were unbelievable for sponsoring us.
I was so happy to be. And I think, as we said, we're all still hungover from it 6 months
Oh my
ago.
God. You know what?
But it was incredible.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll plug it for a second.
Yeah.
It's called Love Against Fear. And what we do is our first charity event was this past Halloween. We gave to Ellie's Place, which is a mental health facility for younger adults. And we raised $60,000 for them, and we're very
Amazing.
honored. And
Well
they're
done.
moving forward. And so next Halloween, everyone come out and help
So
us,
important after
help
COVID
us.
and
Yeah,
these
like
poor
it's
children, what they
yeah,
went through.
yeah. These kids need help more than anything, and Ellie's Place is an amazing organization. And
Excited. Will
yeah.
you be
I think
raising money for them again
I
this
think
year?
every Halloween party we do will be for Ellie's Place. We're looking to do something this summer for another charity, but it's always going to be in the Youth Mental Health Forum.
Whatever it is, I'll be there.
Yes, you will.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you for
So
having
fun.
me.
Anytime.
Thank
Thanks.
you.